republic for which it stands.
One nation, under God.
Indivisible.
With liberty and justice for all.
Guns, self-defense, concealed carry. This is the Patriot Defense Podcast. From the War Room in Idaho's high desert, here's your host, Todd Echols.
And I am back once again. It is actually Tuesday afternoon, and I am tucked away in the war room somewhere in the high desert of southern Idaho. And today it's cold and windy, and we had some snow last night. And, I know this is going to be I did one last week, but it's going to be another one of those weeks with an extra podcast. And I'm sure no one minds. I will say it is going to be probably a little short, and that's fine. Just a couple news stories that came up that I wanted to touch base on. And in all honesty, I went and worked out this morning, came back, nothing to do. It's really slow in my business this time of year. And I've been sitting out here in the war room with the heat on and not wanting to do anything else. I've just been sorting brass all morning. And I thought, you know what? I was kind of scrolling through the social medias, and I was like, I think I'll just jump on and do a little short podcast, a few news tidbits and audio clips for you today. So it could be 10 minutes and maybe 20 minutes. I don't know, but you're going to get something. You're going to get something. So, last week, one of the big stories was we traded the Merchant of Death for Brittany Griner. Brittany Griner was the gal, the WNBA player that got picked up, got caught, and arrested over in Russia. For having, I think it was like a marijuana vape or a weed vape or something, right? She broke the law. She got caught, and she had her trial over there, and she was put into prison and then put into a penal colony, having to do some work. And they've been, begging and pleading and everything to kind of get her home and get her back. And, here's what it boils down to is she broke the law. She broke the law, and she got caught. And I think, honestly, she needs to serve her time. But the president and this administration, they thought otherwise, and they worked out this fantastic deal with the Russians, with Putin. And they decided that they would trade the Merchant of Death. Now, I forget his real name, and I don't have it written down here. I should have wrote it down. But if you don't know, the Merchant of Death is an arms dealer. And you may have recognized the term Merchant of Death. Well, they actually made a movie about him, and the movie is The Lord of War. It's got Nicolas Cage in it. I personally like the show. Maybe it's probably not for little kids. I personally like the show. I like Nicolas Cage. But hey, that's just me. That doesn't mean I like the Merchant of Death, though. He did create lots of havoc, shipping guns and ammunition and arms everywhere. He got into doing this right as the Soviet era was coming to a close, and Russia had warehouses upon warehouses of ammo, of guns, of all kinds of stuff, and he's able to buy them for pennies on the dollar and then turn around and ship them to countries all over. And, I don't know the actual ins and outs, but it would surprise me if he did the U.S. some favors as well. I'm sure he shipped weapons to people that they wanted him to as well. No proof of that, but I'm just saying it wouldn't surprise me at all. But anyhow, they traded the Merchant of Death for Brittany Griner. And, the left is not, why did they let her? Why was she so important to the left? Why did they want her back? I have no idea. I mean, I'm just going to lay out the facts here, and I'm not saying it's one way or the other, but I'm going to lay out the facts. And I'm going to lay out the facts as she was black, she was a lesbian. Is that, and she hates America. She actually spent lots of time, saying that she didn't want to, she wanted to kneel for the national anthem and whatnot. So there was that as well. And, we know this administration wants to encourage that type of behavior. They want to hold it up. They want to give it applause. And was that what they were doing? I don't know. I have no idea. There was a Marine over there that has been in prison for longer than her, and they didn't bother to get him out. So you take it however you want, but let's just play a little clip of our Nancy Pelosi and some of the left, and how they are justifying this, how they are justifying bringing her back and giving up the Merchant of Death.
Well, he has served most of his term, is my understanding, majority of his term.
Look, nobody's doing backflips over here, Dana, that he's a free man again. He would have been free in 2029. It was not like he was serving a life sentence.
So there you go. I mean, they justify it as, he had served some time. He was good to go, But here's a guy, right? Here's a guy he was a horrible, evil guy, and they are okay with it. And let's take a look. Let's jump down to Sheila Jackson. So you remember Sheila Jackson? Sheila Jackson, I also have a clip from Sheila Jackson, a statement from her a sound clip that we will go ahead and play. And she gives her opinions on it. But Sheila Jackson is the one that she loves all the gun laws. She hasn't met a gun law that she doesn't like. She loves it. She likes to sue gun manufacturers whenever there is a shooting. So let's listen to her statement.
But in actuality, his weapons might have been used to kill Americans. But he has not killed Americans.
Yeah, she definitely said that shit.
So there you go. I thought that was kind of funny. Her weapons, and that was Colion Noir, right? Colion Noir. She said, and here's what she did. She kind of masked gun control, right? Excuse me. Let me back this up. I'm getting a little excited here. But what she said is what we say all the time whenever there's a shooting. Don't blame the gun, blame the shooter. And that's what she said. Well, he definitely sold guns, but he didn't personally go out and kill anyone. It's funny how they flip the script, how they make it work for them. But on the other hand, she's ready to sue gun manufacturers whenever there is a shooting that involves their firearm, that involves their guns. She wants to put the blame on them, but on this case, she's saying, well, he sold the guns, and that was okay. Even though that was illegal, that was okay, but he didn't actually do the killing. But she would punish gun manufacturers for essentially doing the same thing. And since I just got my clips kind of backwards, here is the full audio clip I meant to play.
He was sentenced to 25 years. He served 11 to 16 years. I don't know. I can't remember the exact number. But in actuality, his weapons might have been used to kill Americans. But he has not killed Americans. I'm not saying he's not a nasty, bad guy. But I will tell you that I believe that Americans should know that the sovereignty of their nation will always be behind them, and they'll never be.
And one more time, just to drive it home.
But in actuality, his weapons might have been used to kill Americans. But he has not killed Americans.
Yeah, she definitely said that shit.
There you go. With my buddy Colion Noir, kind of stole that off of, check his. He got a whole video on this on YouTube. Go check that out. I'll give props where I need to give props. But it's amazing that they see. That just tells you they will twist anything any way as long as it suits their benefit. And it's not that they care about firearms, folks. They don't care about firearms. I can go on and on and on. They care about, it's all about control. And it's like they don't care about firearms. They care about us having firearms. They're still going to have them. They're still going to, their security. And they are the elite, so they still want the firearms. I don't know. I was just thinking this today. I do the radio show. I do the podcast. And I feel like a broken record, and I feel like people are going to tune out because they're tired of me saying it. But it's not, and I know you guys all know it, it's not about the guns. It's about us having guns. It's about control. It's about them as elitists. It's about them wanting to not allow us to have a way to defend ourselves and our families and not be able to stand up against a tyrannical government. And as we look, and in the past few episodes, I've talked about the AWB, or the assault weapons ban. I just got I think it was Guns and Gadgets. I just saw a video where he went into the fact that it doesn't look like, thankfully, we actually have enough votes for the assault weapons ban. Now, I think there's only like 10 or 11 or something like that more days for this session, right? And I don't know that it would change. I don't think that it would change. But we have, so I got a list here, and unless this has changed or this is bad intel, it shows all the Senate holdouts for the assault weapons ban. And this is good news, right? Keep an eye on them. Don't let up on them. But not one Republican voted for the assault weapons ban. And in fact, we have about 10, I believe 9 Democrats and 1 independent that actually voted against it. So we have enough. There is enough there, and I don't think that this thing's going to go through. Now, you have to eat crow here, but I don't. It's done, I believe. So that's good, and that's because. Why is that? It's because we've used my platform. There's lots of YouTube platforms. There's lots of people in the gun industry, in the firearms industry, and everyone that supports the Second Amendment has done what? They've got in front of their representatives. They've said, we don't want this. We don't want this. We don't want this. And, let's not sit back and relax, though, because this isn't going to be the end of it. Every time there's a shooting, every time there's a big incident involving a firearm, you're going to have the left. You're going to have President Biden jump on this. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to get rid of them. And trust me that it's escalated from assault weapons or AR-15, rifle bans to all semi-automatic. And it's going to encompass. It would encompass lots of handguns. It's going to shotguns. You name it. That's what they want, right? They want that because that's going to be the majority of all the firearms out there. And so this isn't over yet. Keep an eye on this. I don't know what they could do before Christmas, but it just seems like all of a sudden this morning, I was just talking about this the other day, this morning when I'm listening to the radio, it seems like they're all up in arms talking about the border crisis again. Typically, you'll hear about the border crisis, but they don't care about the border crisis. And so they try to hide it, or they don't talk about it a whole lot. Well, everyone's talking about it. That leads me to believe that they're trying to direct our attention elsewhere. So you always need to see what they're talking about on the right, and don't forget to keep an eye on the left. And I'm not talking, right hand, a right party, left party. We're talking just right hand, left hand, whatever. Pay attention to what they're drawing your attention to, but no, they're working on something in the background, and let's not forget about that. We need to pay attention. We need to not let these things go through. And I haven't got or seen any more updates on lately. My favorite topic has been Oregon Measure 114. We talked about it on this weekend's podcast, so you can check, and I talked about it on the podcast before, so you can go check those out if you want and see what you think about that. I'll be keeping an eye on that. We'll see what happens. Pray for those good people in Oregon, the people that didn't want this. And they really need to figure out how to take back their state. They really do. That is such a cesspool over there. So anyhow, I just thought I'd hit you midweek with, or beginning of the week, whatever you want to, whatever. I'll put this out this afternoon. It'll come out Wednesday, or come out later on tonight, but you might not see it till Wednesday. So a little midweek news. I told you it's going to be pretty short. Just some stuff that I saw. I thought I'd kind of get out there to you. And again, I appreciate you guys. I love and appreciate each and every one of you. Look at that. That's my holiday spirit. I love and appreciate each and every one of you. And I do. I am thankful for those who support the podcast and support what I do. I am so thankful for those that have jumped on the Patreon, right? The Patreon's not much, but it doesn't even cost much. It's like $5 a month, and I've got some videos on there, and I'm trying to get better about continually adding stuff there. And it's, like I said, it's $5 a month, and it kind of helps this podcast. Unfortunately, I don't have any Joe Rogan Spotify deals, right? I don't have any of these big deals. This is all coming out of my own pocket. This is all coming out of Todd's pocket, out of Patriot Defense's pocket. And so, the little bit of help I can get, sign up for Patreon, $5 a month. You get some videos. Hopefully they'll do you good. If not, stick around for a little while and then jump off. If you want, it is what it is. But it all helps support the podcast because this is not overly expensive, but it's not overly free either. So it does cost money, upkeep, equipment, bandwidth, subscription, all this stuff. If you guys want to jump on the Patreon, you can check it out. There's a link in the show notes. I would appreciate it. And as we go into the Christmas season, I know money is tight and times are tough. At the very least, let's share the podcast. If you would share this on all your social media accounts with your family, with your friends, if you're on some kind of Facebook page, share the podcast. The more listeners I can get, the better. We've been doing pretty good, but we're kind of holding stagnant a little bit. I wouldn't mind seeing those numbers rise a bit. It would be fantastic, and I sure would appreciate it. So, and always, if you got any questions or comments, you can call me. You can text me, area code 620-794-6223. It's area code 620-794-6223. Find the Patriot Defense Facebook page. Give it a like. We're on Instagram. I'm on Twitter, which I'm not on that much, but I also have a bunch of videos up on TikTok. I need to do more of those. And as we come into the slow season, you'll be seeing more of those show up, I'm sure. I do, like always, I really do appreciate all the support. And I tell you what, if you're looking for good podcasts, and you found this one, that's fantastic. You need to go over and check out my buddy, the Cajun Cowboys podcast. Go over and check out Forgotten American. You can find it on Spotify. If you like my stuff and you've heard him on there, and everyone loves the Cajun Cowboy, run over and find his podcast on Spotify or anywhere that you can find podcasts. Once again, that is Forgotten American. Check it out. Subscribe to it. Give that a listen. I'd appreciate it. He'd appreciate it. That'd be fantastic. I will see you guys. I'll be back sometime this next weekend. Thank you.